Session 5. In this session, we will learn how to find the values that correspond to certain percentiles and to find the first, the second, and the third quartiles using Excel functions. Now let's start to find the 5-number summary values for this given data set. The 5-number summary measurements are minimum, Q1, Q2, Q3, and maximum. We know how to find the minimum and the maximum from the previous session. Now let's find the minimum. Equal minimum. Here you go. Select the data array. Click enter. Let's find the maximum. Equals max. And then select the data array and then enter or return. Here you go. Now we need to find Q1, Q2, and Q3. We use the quartile.exe function to get the quartile for a given data. The quartile.exe function takes two arguments, the data array and the quart of the quartile value we want to return. Let's start with Q1 now. So we start with equal sign. Now let's start typing the quartile.exe word, and then as you can see, once we start typing the word quartile, the drop down menu appears and we can select the required function, which is quartile.exe. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we need to take two arguments here, the data array and the first quart in this case. So let's select the data array and then type comma. We need to write in this case number 1 because we are looking for the first quartile. Click enter or return. Now we repeat the same method to find the second quartile. So let's start here with equal, then quartile, here you go, the Excel function, quartile.exe, select the data array and then type comma. Now we need to type number 2 here because we are looking for the second quartile. Click enter or return. Now let's find the third quartile, equal quartile.exe, then select the data here, comma. Now we type number 3 since we are looking for the third quartile. Click enter or return. So we found here the 5-number summary measurements for the given data set. Now let's find the value that corresponds to the 35th percentile. For this purpose, we use the percentile.exe Excel function. So let's find it now. Type equal, then percentile.exe. As you can see here, that the percentile.exe takes two arguments, the data array. So let's select the data array, then put comma. Now to write the second argument, which is the rank of the percentile as a percent, using percent sign or as a decimal. In this case, we type 35% or 0.35. So we will type 0.35, click enter or return. So the value that corresponds to the 35th percentile is 78.85. Now we already know how to find the average, so let's just find it. Type equal average, then select the data, click enter or return. Here you go. As you know that the IQR is the difference between Q3 and Q1 values. Now to find IQR using Excel, we can start with equal sign, then click on the cell that has the value of Q3 minus. Now we need to click on the cell that has Q1 value. Let's click now enter or return. Now let's find the left or the lower fence. So the formula for the left or the lower fence is Q1 minus 1.5 times IQR. Now let's use Excel in order to find the left fence value. Start with equal. Now we need to click on the cell that has the Q1 value minus 1.5. Now in order to use the multiplication sign here in Excel, we need to hold the shift button and then click on number 8 key in your keyboard. Now we need to click on the cell that has the IQR value. Click enter or return. Now let's find the right or the upper fence value. As you can see here, the formula for the right fence or the upper fence is Q3 plus 1.5 times IQR. Now let's use Excel in order to find the right fence value equal. Now we click on the cell that has the Q3 value. Type plus. Now 1.5. Hold the shift button. Now hold shift and click on number 8 key in your keyboard. Now click on the cell that has IQR value. Click enter or return. Now you can click on the next worksheet, activity 3, to practice more. This is the end of session 5.